Hi everybody and ni hao from Shanghai. Today is June 27, 2020 and this video contains information obtained until today. I received many questions from you after my last posts on some social media regarding the traveling from Europe to China, and that's why I decided to do this short video podcast. Several European airlines have restarted their regular services from Europe to China and back. This also holds true for Lufthansa. They had a first flight which landed on June 25 here in Shanghai. And on June 26, this plane with its crew has returned to Frankfurt. Now, does this actually mean that traveling to China has now been normalized? I think this was the biggest question that was raised by many of you. And unfortunately, the answer is no, not yet. So right now, we still have this policy in effect since March 28, which basically has suspended all existing visa and residence permits. If you're holding a visa or residence permits which has an issue date before March 28, 2020, then unfortunately at the moment this immigration title is not valid for you. By the way, also all the visa on arrival options that had existed previously have all been suspended at the same time. So there's no possibility just to jump on a plane and try to apply for a visa once you reach your destination in China. Many of you have heard that there have been people returning to China from Europe, and I'm going to talk about the three main exceptions that currently are available for you. Now, this is actually the first video in this new channel. In case you like this kind of video on China, on practical issues, on the business environment, maybe also sometimes on legal issues, then please press the subscribe button below. Okay, now let's talk about the three exceptions that currently exist. The first exception is actually one that probably doesn't apply to most of you because it just relates to diplomats. So if you are a foreign diplomat working at an embassy or consulate general in China, yes, there are exceptions and you should be able to actually enter China at the moment. The second exception is that you hold a so-called green card. Now, a green card is not just a normal residence permit, which you get, for instance, for working or studying in China. A green card is something, it's a kind of a small credit card sized plastic card. Normally the duration is about 10 years and it allows you to permanently reside in China. So we also call this a permanent residence card. So although there is no officially and widely published policy, in case you are holding a green card, chances are very high that you will be able to enter or re-enter China. Now, the last and practically, I think, most important possibility is that you are holding a visa which has been issued after March 28 this year in 2020. In case you hold such a visa, this also, the regulation are very clear on this point, allows you to re-enter China. The key question is, of course, how to get such a visa. Now, first option would be, in that case, to try to get one of the charter flights that are organized, for instance, by the German Chamber of Commerce. And once you are on the respective list on the flight, you basically are able to enter in this fairly complicated process. But it should allow you to have your name put on a respective list. The key point is actually to obtain the so-called PU invitation letter. This letter then allows you to arrange for an appointment for your actual visa application, which happens outside China at your embassy or consulate. Now, besides the application in the context of one of these chartered flights, as I just mentioned, there's also the possibility to apply for the PU invitation letter individually. However, this has proven to be fairly difficult in practice. You need to convince the Chinese authorities that your stay in China is essential, and that's why they should be issuing a respective PU invitation letter. In case you have received it, this then allows you to make a respective appointment with the Chinese embassy or consulate abroad for the application of your visa. So just to summarize, under this process, step number 1 is going to be in China, the PU invitation letter. Step number 2 is going to be outside China, obtaining your visa in time so that as a step number 3, you're able to get on the plane, on the seat that you have reserved. Now, at the moment, even if you've completed all of that, you will still have to undergo your mandatory 14-day quarantine once you reach China. This means 14 days either in a designated hospital or exceptionally, for instance, if you have small children traveling with you, also at your home in China. I think, the remaining question, of course, is when will the Chinese authorities lift these restrictions that make it so difficult to travel to China at the moment? And unfortunately, I also don't have my crystal ball ready at this point. I think, realistically speaking, we are rather looking at a longer period of time. So maybe still several months where the Chinese government is going to closely observe how other countries are dealing with the COVID-19 crisis. Once there is a certain confidence in the handling of outbreaks, in the reliability of tests, all of this will then help to restore the confidence, and at a certain stage, of course, we are expecting travel to return to a normal situation. What I could imagine is that in a first step, people still holding valid residence permits might be allowed to return. The second step might be to slowly start reintroducing business travel, and the last one would be tourism. But this is just the best guess from myself. There is no official announcement whether this kind of sequence will actually happen, and also in which time frame we are talking about here. Okay, that's all for today. I hope you had fun with these explanations, and 再见 from Shanghai. If you like this video, please press the subscribe button below and give me a like. You can also contact me directly via my LinkedIn channel.